Hi, I'm going to go over how to do discussion week 5. So let's look at these questions. An equilateral triangle has sides of length S. Okay, so what that means is you have a triangle. Equilateral means all sides are equal, and that's important. All right, so, and each side is called S. I'm squishing this little diagram here. So we know perimeter equals side, the length of this side plus the length of this side plus the length of this side. So the original perimeter is going to be, let's make this thicker, P, we'll just call it P, will equal S plus S plus S, which is also, if you have a 1, remember you can have a 1 in front of each of those letters. You combine like terms, and that becomes equal to 3S, because 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3, so 3S. Okay, so what they're saying is if each side is increased by 5, then they want to represent the new perimeter in terms of S, meaning you're going to have a little expression with S in the expression. You're not going to just have a number sentence, and you're not going to have just a plain number answer. Okay, so one of the sides is increased by 5. So let's look at what we had up there. We'll keep it pretty simple right now. We have a side and a side and a side. And we add those to get the perimeter. But now we're going to increase each S by 5. So we add a 5 to each S, just like that. Which means it's like you're saying here, S plus 5 for each of these sides. So 5 is added to the S. We don't know what the S is, and we don't have to know what the S is. It's not asking us to solve for the perimeter. Okay, so that's 5 plus, or I'm sorry, S plus 5. It looks kind of like 5 plus 5, but it's S plus 5. So we do that to each of these S's. And we know we have to add each side to get the perimeter. So we are adding in between. Seems kind of a lot. So we are adding S plus 5 3 times. So what you can say here is we have 3 times the S. This time we have 3 times S plus 5. Because we simply added 5 to one side, but there's 3 sides. Okay, so this expands. This is factored form that you're looking at here because you have 3 as a factor, and then the parentheses, whatever's inside, because it's marked off by parentheses, is another factor. But to expand the expression, and we say that because it doesn't have an equal sign. Well, it does, but we're just setting it equal to a P. It's not equal to any number. So it's an expression where when expanded would be 3S, and you're just doing the distributive property, 3S times, and then times the 5, that'd be plus 15. And that would be the full shorthand formula you would use if somebody gave you an S value, but nobody did. So you just end up with an expression. 3S plus 15 represents the perimeter in terms of S. We're not given a value for S. We're not given a value for perimeter. If we were given a value for S, we could solve for the perimeter. Easy enough. If s equals 2, then 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 15 is 21. If we were given a perimeter, we could rearrange and solve for the side. But it's okay, it's just an equation right now. All right, so then when the original side, so in this language, what they mean is you don't have to deal with this s plus 5 anymore. You're back to the original triangle with the s for a side. S, S, and S. And now they're going to say each side is doubled. So whenever you double, you multiply by 2. If you triple, you multiply by 3. If you quadruple something, you multiply by 4. So it's a matter of understanding the language. So each side is multiplied by 2. So that's 2s, 2s. That's not a 5, this is an s. So it's 2 times s. And you're adding for perimeter. So let's do everything s. We'll write it as 2s. So 2 times s. It really looks like a 5. It's difficult. 2s plus, because each side has to be added, 2s equals, and we can just combine like terms. 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 2 is 6 is equal to 6s. You can also think of it just like you thought of, and that's our final formula there. 6 times s will be the new perimeter in terms of s. Okay. You could also think of it as 3 times 2s. Just like we did here, we did 3 times the s plus 5 because the side was increased by 5. You could also say 3 times each side doubled, so 2s. So 3 times 2s, but that would also give us 6s. So whether you look at it as these 3 added, 2s plus 2s plus 2s, or multiplied 3 times 2s, it's still the same answer. Okay, so that's number 1, and it's about a square. Now, the similarity between an equilateral triangle and a square is the square also has all equal sides. Okay, so in this one, a square has a perimeter of 84 inches. So they're giving you a picture already to work with. A square, and they're telling you it equals 84 inches as the perimeter. So perimeter is just this side plus this side plus this side plus this side. If it equals 84, and you know that a perimeter is equal to s plus s plus s. We did that before. S plus s plus s. So 1s plus 1. And you can have a 1 in front of these s's. It doesn't matter. Because 1 times any number is just itself. But I'm just showing you, we know this is the formula for a perimeter, which is then we're adding 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, which equals 4s. If we know that perimeter equals 4s, and we're given a value of 84, then what we're saying is 4 times s equal 84. So you solve for s by dividing both sides by 4. And most people understood this. If you divide 84 by 4, you will get the length of one of these sides. And that's really the objective there. So if we have a calculator, where are we? 84 divided by 4 equals 21. Equals 21. So we know that one side is 21. So let's redraw our square. And our new, well, not our new square, they're telling us a square has a perimeter of 84 inches, which then we figured out means that each side is 21 inches. That's not the whole problem. That's just taking a sentence from the problem and getting important information from it using that sentence. So we can figure something out, basically. And then if each side of the original square is increased by y, represent the new perimeter in terms of y. So we've seen this before. Each side is increased by y. So we're going to add a little plus y there. And we're going to do just what we did before. That's a 21, although it looks funny. And that's plus y there. So let me move this down. We're going to do 21 plus y, because that's one of the sides. And remember, one of these sides, we add it for 4 times. So this side plus this side plus this side plus this side will then be 4 times each of those sides. Just like we have here, 4 times s. Well, now they added y to s. So we have to do 4 times 21 plus y. And we can say 21 because we figured out what s was, because we were given a value for the perimeter. So that's what makes this problem a little different. We were not given a value for perimeter before. So then once you have this problem down here, what you can do is you want to expand the expression by doing the distributive property. And so that 4 times 21 just goes right back to 84. But it's 84 plus 4y becomes the expression for the new perimeter. So we could say perimeter, technically that's a new perimeter, we call it. This is what they do in math. They make little descriptions next to the letter. All right, so that is number 2. Number 3 is draw a square and label the sides so that it represents a square with a perimeter of 96. This is exactly what we had to do in the first part of the previous problem. So if you have a square, each side is s, you have a perimeter that equals 96 inches. We know that perimeter equals 4 times s, because we saw that in the last problem. Then we could say perimeter equals 4s equals 96. In this case, it's 90. The perimeter is 96. So then we have this equation here. We divide both sides by 4 to get our answer for s. Some people just know to do this problem. They go, oh, I just divide by 4. That's fine. It's just we want to spell out what's going on. So, and 96 divided by 4 is 24. So s is 24. So in this case, we're not doing an expression. We're simply saying, okay, because the perimeter was 96, that means each side is 24 inches. That's what that means. And that's all they wanted you to do on that one. So if you're going to draw the square, then you would draw it like this, showing that each side has 24 inches. Okay.